Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to today's message. First, I'd like to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of the journey with me. I am truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And if you happen to be new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things completely differently around here, so with that being said, if the message happens to resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box below. So today I got a channel message, the truth you need to hear. We're going to be using the Dragon Rider Oracle card today. Don't have the booklet out for it, but I was really called to use this today, so we're going to find out what's going to come through for you. So source, the truth that my fellow humans need to hear. The truth you need to hear today. What Dragon Rider's Oracle card is going to help us better understand this? Thank you. Okay, on the bottom of the deck, we have Sag and Seala Shagthan with drink from the holy water of wisdom, and from now on follow the way of self-awareness. Be like water, flow freely and unhindered along your life path. This is giving me temperance vibes as well, which is like blending of the opposites, right? Blending of the light and the dark. Realizing that we aren't one or the other. We're actually an embodiment of both, and acceptance of both is when we truly begin to feel like the whole complete being that we are. So that's an interesting way to start. All right, so what is the truth you need to hear? Source, what would you like to share with them today? What is the truth you need to hear? Okay, so we've got the 12th house. We've got Taurus energy and the sun. Okay, this feels like there's been a lot of feelings of hurt and pain, and that's okay. We're not trying to rid ourselves of pain, and I feel like sometimes in the spiritual community, everybody's saying, like, we have to get rid of pain, we have to get rid of pain, we have to get rid of hurt, we have to get rid of hurt, we have to get rid of feeling the way that we feel. No. Part of this journey is allowing ourselves to experience it as it comes, being present with. But when we're present with, what we begin to realize is that it's not as bad as we initially thought it was. It's when we're so hyper-focused on the pain, the hurt, the brokenheartedness, the suffering, the hardships, the guilt, the whatever it is that's rising up. When we're so hyper-focused on what we're experiencing, rather than just being with it like an old-time friend. We're losing sight of the wisdom that comes with this experience. Not the lesson, but the wisdom. The wisdom of being present. What does being in the space of the observer mean? What does being fully aware mean? Right? Self-awareness. It's about us coming into this space of seeing rather than coming into this space of identifying. Of being rather than becoming what we believe we have to become. And this is hard sometimes for us to lean into, because our whole lives we've been conditioned to believe that the pain body, that our emotional responses, that everything that we've experienced is the truth of who we are, not just as it is, which is something we're experiencing in this moment. And from personal experience, I do know that you can either become your pain or you can be aware of your pain. Like in 2015, I broke my back. And when it first happened, all I was the pain. But then as things started I started understanding what was happening. I started to get care for it, everything. And I was talking to the doctor, and he was a very spiritual doctor, which I'm so grateful that I had at the time. He started helping me to open my eyes to something more. And instead of being my pain, I was able to become one with the pain, which means to sit with it. And it helped me in so many different ways. And sometimes that's a really hard place to be at. Now, that was physical pain. The same thing can be done with emotional pain and emotional distraught feelings here. And I feel like there's a call for you that's coming into this place of like, this is how we step into where you're meant to be at. It's not rising above, it's not going below, it's just being with it, becoming the observer. Realizing that that's where your truth will lie at, is when you become the observer. Can you sit with it in the silence instead of, it's like when you're hot or when you're cold. If all you do is focus on being hot or cold, it becomes even worse. So the same thing, like if you are cold in this moment, instead of saying like, oh my gosh, it's so cold, it's so cold, it's so cold, which is such an immediate response, can you just be like, okay, I'm cold, but I'm going to sit with it and I'm going to meditate on it. I'm going to focus my breath on it and see what happens. And you realize you're not as cold as you thought you were, because now you're not focused on it. And that's what they're saying here. It's like taking your focus off of this. There's a hyper focus or hyper fixation on something that's coming through, and it's diminishing your self-value, your self-worth. Wow, this is a really powerful message already. And that this is just a part of where you're at right now. Yeah, seeing clearly the truth they need to hear. Source, what is the truth you need to hear? What messages do you have for my fellow humans? The truth you need to hear. Thank you. The truth you need to hear. It's stepping away from what everyone has said it had to be and stepping into a new way of being. What everybody has given you hasn't been what it could really be. Yeah, not seeing it clearly with the hangman in the reverse and the page of coins. Like this is the past coming into the future in a distorted reality. This is how it's always been, so this is the only way it can truly be. But if we've always lived how we always lived before, if we live now as we have always lived before, we would have never made any progress. It is those that question the reality of things. It is those that question the potential and the opportunities. It is those that question reality that are able to bring us into a state of growth. And this is what you're doing, is learning how to question that reality for yourself. Is this real, or is this an illusion? How do you learn when it's something that is so prevalent in this moment? How do you learn to question that when it's the only thing that you can think about? By choosing to focus on the mind-body connection, by choosing to focus on the breath, by sitting in stillness, coming into silence. Is it uncomfortable? Yeah, it's incredibly uncomfortable. It's incredibly weird too when you first start. But as time goes on, you learn to be able to sit with that discomfort. Just the same as you learn to sit with that pain. Just the same that you learn to sit with that whatever situation is. It's not about changing it. It's not about making it go away. It's not even really about transmuting it at this point. Doesn't mean that we're not going to get to that point where we can transmute it. What is saying here is that right now, this is the moment you're at. And the moment you're at is about coming into this moment of presence. Becoming the awareness that you are. This is like searching and seeking for something. There's something that you're running after here. There's something that you're trying to become. There's something that you're trying to let go of, maybe. But the more that you try to do this thing, whatever it is, the harder it becomes to do what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And it's because there's a sense of force that's happening right now rather than a sense of presence. Yeah, it's a superficial way of driving through it. And the pain body is such a unique topic already. And if you want someone to explain that in more depth, check out Eckhart Tolle, because he can go into it in ways that I would not even be able to begin. But there's this energy where, with the Knight of Cups coming out, it's a very superficial, so this is very surface level, right? We're stuck on the surface. We're stuck on the cut, the wound on the skin. We're not seeing the deeper meaning behind it. We're not seeing the deeper issue here. So this could be like a snap reaction of anger that's coming up. Like something happens and you snap in anger and you take it out on everybody, which we've all done, right? We're all guilty of this. And you're thinking, you're like, afterwards, wow, that shouldn't have made me as angry as it did. But man, in that moment, I was so mad and I was so irritated and I had to say something. That's the surface wound. That's the superficial reaction to what was going on, because it wasn't what was going on that made you mad. It was what it reminded you of internally. It was the thing that it touched on internally that made you feel unsafe, that made you feel like you had to snap back, that made you feel like you had to be angry. So there's this depth that's coming in where I have to seek deeper into the truth. But with the Page of Swords underneath this card, we're seeing that this is something that's hard, because the Page of Swords in the reverse says, I don't want to face reality. Because the illusion of reality that you've been told or taught for so long is more comfortable. It's easier. It's something you know. You know this existence. So why would I want to change and try to be something that I don't know? But you are capable of it. Right now, it's about setting boundaries with yourself. Let's go one more. Yeah, I don't want to face the reality. 2 cards that are talking about not wanting to face the reality. A big major hitter, and this one just saying like, no, it's okay, I don't want to face reality. But seeing that if you face the reality here, it feels like the whole world is going to fall apart. Like everything that I've known, everything that I've identified with up until this point, and it doesn't have to be the pain body. There's just something here that's really uncomfortable that you've identified with for a very long time. You haven't seen it very clearly, right? It's been sold to you by many other people. It's been sold to you by a collective. It's been sold to you by a group of people. It's been something that's been impressed upon you for a long, long time. And I don't want to see it differently, because that means that everything that I've known is a lie. So it's sometimes, the truth, even when it hurts, doesn't make it wrong. And sometimes we get so irritated by people who are telling us truths that we don't want to hear, that we're like, no, they're wrong, they're wrong, they're wrong. And you'll always hear me say there is no right or wrong. There's only what's right or wrong for you. But if someone's sharing us a truth and we're saying it's wrong, it doesn't mean that what they're sharing is wrong. It means that it's wrong for us. And maybe it's only wrong for us in this moment, because there have been times on the journey, I'm sure you can even equate to this, where you've gone back and things that you thought were wrong at one point, where now you're actually opening up to receiving that wisdom. And you're like, oh, wow, this was actually something that I could have achieved way back then if I hadn't been so stubborn. Right, with the Taurus energy, if I hadn't been so stubborn, or resistance to change, or whatever situation was rising up where it was like, I just was not willing to hear this. And as anybody that is a channeler, as anybody that is bringing spiritual messages, we have to realize that at the end of the day, we can tell it to you until we're blue in the face, but if you're not ready to hear it, you won't hear it. And that's okay. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make me wrong. It doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make anybody wrong. It's just that's the state of where you're at. And so as we accept that and as we embrace that, right, like I said, with this energy, that temperance energy, is remembering that we are both the shadow and the light. Can we give a voice to the shadow the same way we always give a voice to the light? Everybody's so willing and ready to accept the positive sides of things, the things that, oh my gosh, it makes me feel good, it makes me feel right, it makes me feel this, it makes me feel that. But we're so quick to sweep the bad things under the rug, saying, no, I can't have that, I can't have that, no, that's not me, that's not me. Without recognizing that both sides exist within us. You don't have a one-sided coin. Coins are double-sided, which means that, we're not one-dimensional. We're 3-dimensional beings. So not only do we have our spiritual self that's running us, we also have the light and the shadow that exists within each of us, the three dimensions, the three points that come together to create the reality upon which we live in, which means that there are going to be opposing and agreeing statements at any one given moment. So this is about asking yourself to open up to that and recognize that there's something here that has been a challenge, that has been possibly, potentially superficial, that you haven't wanted to face in regards to your journey, simply because you're holding on to an old paradigm or because you're holding on to an old way of being. And again, there's no blame, right? When you're ready, you're ready. But for you to find this message, the truth you need to hear now, right? For you to find and be on this message that says that your soul is ready to receive this. And in turn, if your soul is ready to receive it, your soul is making way for your ego to back off enough to receive the truth and the wisdom that comes from that. That's what that means. And that's the truth with any message. So we have yang energy here, proactivity, expression, doing, and forward motion. How are you going to move forward? Aries, Leo, Sag, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius energy. How are you going to move forward for yourself? It's not about perfection. It's never about perfection. It's not about, denying ourselves. It's not about being, cruel to ourselves. It's not about chastising ourselves. It's not about any of that. It's simply about accepting it as it is in this moment. Is it hard? I can accept that. Is it painful? I can accept that. Is it fun? I can accept that. Right? And that's why it's like when we think about the less than ideal situations in life, we're so quick to just cast it aside and try to focus on only good things. But we live in this contrast realm that is dualistic in its nature, which means that both sides of the coins are naturally going to affect us. The good and the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the happy, the sad. Mountain goat. There's something out of balance in your life, so do whatever you need to correct it. Right. It feels like there's a denial of one side of self or one side of life. I'm denying this. Like, it can't be true. It has to be like this. Life and death happens all around us. Everywhere we go. When we walk outside, life and death happens. We could even be the cause of life and death. Think about the ants under our feet that we accidentally, unknowingly crush as we're just walking on any one given day. We don't stop to think about those things because it's out of sight, out of mind. Like, we're not experiencing the suffering of that ant, but that ant is experiencing suffering in that moment, or pain, or whatever it is, right? But we're not, so it's not affecting us. But when we stop to really consider how much we're connected to everything around us, and that life and death is happening at every moment, it allows us to see things more clearly and recognize that we don't have to hold on to old ways of being simply for the sake of holding on to them. It is courageous to put the tip of our toes into a lake or a pond that we might not have otherwise been brave enough to do. So we have sexual wisdom here. So this could have to do with a partner, a person in your life. This could also be the right to feel. Maybe you're not letting yourself feel what you need to feel. You're closing yourself off to your emotions. And when we deny one aspect of ourselves, we don't see the truth that we're denying all aspects of ourselves. Right? We don't want to feel sadness or grief, but in not feeling sadness or grief, we numb ourselves to joy and ecstasy. Be bold, or be fearless and bold. Yeah, so this is about finding that strength, structure, and stability in something that otherwise has been frightening for you to step forward towards. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of a clear picture here. The truth they need to hear. What else would you like to share with us today, Source? Okay, this card's coming out. The truth you need to hear. Timing. The truth you need to hear. Okay, the truth you need to hear. They want one more. The truth you need to hear. Comply. Yeah. On the bottom, ring, wedding, token, bond. So this could be in regards to a person that's in your life with bond and ring coming out here on the bottom. It doesn't have to be. It could be a situation that's very cyclical by its nature. I cannot make it up. Underneath that, we have courage. This is asking for your courage to face. Okay, this is something that you're being asked to face directly. So we did have timing flip over, deadline, synchronization, rhythm, and movement. So everything is all in divine timing. But also I feel like this is confirmation to what I was feeling earlier, where if you're not ready to hear it, it doesn't matter how many times it's explained to you. It doesn't matter how many different ways is it explained to you. You're not going to hear it. So it's all about timing. Everything appears when it's appropriate for us. And sometimes it's only appearing. So this might not resonate with you right now, but it could be appearing just to plant the seed so that it resonates later on, so that you see a deeper truth of yourself later on. That happens a lot too. We have comply, rules, laws, unwritten rules. So this is showing that whatever it is that's going on right now, it's just that comply energy is that this is how it's always been. We talked about that earlier. But just because this is how it's always been doesn't mean this is always how it will be. Mutable. Surrender, fluidity, and welcoming change. Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and Pisces. Yeah, so this is all about welcoming that change. Chameleon. Stay in the background and adapt to the situation rather than being conspicuous and attempting to direct the course of events. So that, yes. Oh, thank you. This is so perfect to what I was saying. So like if you're in pain, instead of trying to control it and say like, I'm getting rid of the pain, right? So we could really do something bad for ourselves and getting addicted to pain pills, right? Like that's something, because we're just trying to get rid of the pain. Well, eventually it becomes more than just numbing the physical pain. It becomes about numbing the emotional pain, and that's where addiction arises, right? So we're trying to control something rather than being with it and allowing the thing to unfold as it will. We just want to run away from it. And that's what we're saying, and that's what Chameleon said here. It's like sometimes we just have to become the observer, stay in the background. We have to open up to that observation and that awareness within us. Persephone, new beginnings. This is where new things will happen for you. And Persephone is Demeter's daughter. And Hades, the god of the underworld, tricked her into eating pomegranate seeds. And the thing is that if you eat anything from the underworld, then you now belong to Hades. And so Hades traps Persephone in the underworld for 6 months of the year. That's when fall and winter happen. Demeter, she decided to bring the world into darkness or into death when her daughter was taken from her for those 6 months. And then when Persephone emerges, everything grows again. So we have that perfect depiction here of life and death happening all around us, right? Fall and winter are the time of death, reflection, slowing down, coming back in, tuning into our wisdom. Spring and summer is when we get to emerge again, renewed and refreshed with fresh ideas, fresh, inspirations and fresh motivations. Believe in yourself. And that's the other thing here, is believing in yourself is so vital. Like if you don't think it's for you, you're not believing in yourself. If you don't think you can, you're not believing in yourself. If you don't think you're enough, you're not believing in yourself. You are everything you need to be to become everything that you desire. Fire. Carnival, celebration, and ceremony. Stoking the inner fires here. Reconnecting. That's what it feels like. Chat. Exchange of information. Disclose information and acquire. Right? Again, coming back to that, this feels like they're just pointing out this is a truth. This is information we're giving you. It doesn't mean you have to do anything with it today, but if we stop and ponder on it for some time, what does that mean for us? dream, desire, omen, nightmare, and fantasy. That goes back to the believe in yourself, right? What do you want to dream into this world? And remembering that you already have everything that you need to make that a reality. So we're just going to take a look at this card again. I don't have the book to read this from, but we're going to see what your card is. Nike and Leslie, your talents will lead you to great success. The time has come to allow your potential to be awakened. Believe in yourself. Wow. I cannot make this up. 2 cards from 2 different decks. Believe in yourself. And there you go. Believe in yourself. See it? Really powerful message here. This is all about trusting and believing that you have everything. You have the potential, you have the ability, you have the tools you need to go to the next level. But I do feel like there's something here that you're complying with, some kind of idea or belief where it's like, again, when we're talking about the pain, the suffering, the feeling, whatever it is you're holding on to, it's something that's very outdated. It's something that's suffocating you. And the belief that this has to be the way that it is what's keeping you from believing in your potential, believing in yourself, right? That's why we were talking about the very first card that we looked at was all about becoming self-aware. To be like water, flow freely and unhindered along your path. No matter what arises, to be like water means to be with it as it comes. Not to control it, not to direct it, not to change its course, but whatever it is, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the heavy, the light, all of it together, whatever comes, whatever stands in your path, it's a part of your path. The path, the journey is the path. The path is the journey. Like, it's not separate from one another. Life is the journey. Life, whatever life brings, that is the journey. And this is what the truth is right now. It's like opening up to whatever I'm going through, whether it's good or bad or hard, difficult, easy, fun, lighthearted, heavy-hearted. It's what I'm meant to experience right now, and to sit with it, not control it, but to sit with it and see what that brings up for you. All right, so this is what I have for you today. What a very powerful reading. Wow, I'm so shocked. This is so powerful. So if you felt like this was your reading, is there a squirrel emoji? If there is, leave a little squirrel emoji down below to confirm this reading and say, I open up and believe in my abilities to be self-aware, to be present, and to create the life I desire. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box below. With that, I would like to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this incredibly powerful message. And until next time, stay human. Bye.